everyone, welcome back. It is the middle of winter, middle of February, and we're already thinking spring. It has felt like a long winter. And with spring comes camping season, one of my favorite things. And in getting ready for camping season, I always end up making a bunch of batches of fire starters. So I want to walk you through that process, share it with you a little here. I'm going to show you how to make, or at least how I make, fire starters like this. There they are. Right. So this is just right here. So a dozen of them, super easy to make. A dozen of these lasts me almost all season. I give them away. I sell them, all sorts of stuff. They work great. But I'm gonna walk you through how to make those, and then at the end, I want to show you how they burn and how easy they light. But I also, and I didn't film this part, sorry, but I also made some slightly different kinds. So I made some like this that kind of look like a oatmeal cookie a little bit. They're not a cookie, don't eat it. But it's the same as the fill for the other kind, but just without the egg carton. Because here is, just in this little container, is about 25 of that other style. And they take up way less space than a dozen like this. These are easier to light. These take up less space. So pros and cons, but the first step, and I didn't get it filmed and now I'm out of wax, so sorry, but the first step is just to melt down a bunch of wax. I use old candles. I use the old, no longer smelly wax out of my wife's Scentsy candles. Anything that's wax will work. You can just go buy paraffin from the store or whatever. Whenever I see free candles at garage sales, I pick them up, use them for this. But when you're melting the wax, just make sure you be careful. Do not directly heat the wax. It'll start on fire. It's not good. It's bad. Don't do it. To melt the wax, you want to set up a double boiler, which is really easy. You just take a little kettle, a little pot on your stove and fill it with water, get it up to a heat, and then put another container in that. In the video here, I just used a fountain soda cup from a local gas station, and it worked great. I've used a tin can. I've used anything works. Just about anything works. Just it needs to be something that'll stay solid in boiling water. So you get your wax melted. You need paper towels, sawdust, and an egg carton. I just take paper towels, cut them into strips, and then I've cut this into about thirds, so make them about 1.5 inches or so long. And then this little piece of paper towel then functions as the wick to light the fire starter. Once I've got all the wicks cut, I just lay them down in the egg carton, kind of along the side like that. And that way when I fill it full of my fire starter mix, it kind of soaks into the paper towel. And I like to lay 2 of them, one on each side, like this, so that just so I've got 2 wicks coming out, just in case one, I don't know, in case one gets worn off, one doesn't light, whatever. Just gives me sort of a backup. So I'll lay these all through on either side like that. And once all my wax is melted, I can fill it up. Once your wax is all melted, then you just take your sawdust, your wood shavings here. You need something to mix it all together in. I like to just take like an old bowl, or in this case I just chop the top off of a milk jug. Something, it's really nice if it's something that you can just throw away when you're done, or you don't have to try to clean it out. But just dump all of your wood shavings in there. I like to, if there's any big chunks, I try to get them out. Something like this is just an old leaf. That'll burn great, so I'll just crumble that up. That's actually a good thing to have in there. But big chunks of bark, sometimes there'll be a bigger chunk of wood that's in there. Like, that's probably a little bigger than I want to keep in it. So I'll have the sawdust in there. then just add wax. Add wax and stir. So I'm going to add some in here. Easier to go a little bit at a time. Easier to add more wax than to add more sawdust if it's too thin. I mean, depending upon if you have more sawdust or not. So there, need to add a little more. And it's pretty forgiving in what the ratio of wax to sawdust needs to be. You just want everything good and coated and enough wax in there that it will sort of stick together like a, I don't know, lumpy, like a loose cookie dough, I guess. So that the idea is, just like in a candle, it's not really, I mean, yeah, the wick burns a little bit, but it's not really the wick that's burning. It's really the wax burning off the wick. So all of this sawdust functions like 1,000 little wicks inside each one of these fire starters. And so we just want the wax to coat the sawdust. This is looking pretty good. And then you just take and scoop it into the holes in the carton. Oh, man. And try not to do that and spill all over. The wax does sometimes get to be a pain to clean up. So I probably should, when I do this, lay out some paper towels so that I can, or paper towels or newspaper actually would be even easier. So I can have all of this on the newspaper. So when I spill like that, I'm not spilling it directly onto the counter. Would make it a little easier to clean up, but that requires planning. So I just keep going till I've got them all full. I prefer to do this in several smaller batches. So I'll fill this egg carton here, then I'll get another egg carton ready for with the wicks and everything, and then I'll mix up another batch. Yeah, so I'll just get these filled and we'll be back. Now, I don't really think that this last step here is all that necessary, but I kind of like to do it. Once I've got them all filled in, I'll pour just a tiny little bit extra wax over the top of each one. I just think it kind of flows down in through it and helps bind the whole thing together a little better, but probably not necessary. I don't know that it even really helps, but I like to do it. I think it might help. Certainly doesn't hurt. Wax is cheap. So, there we go. At this point, we've got a full dozen fire starters. Just got to let them sit and dry and then cut them apart, and you're good to go. See? See? I told you it was easy. Crazy easy. Quick to do. Thing you can do with your kids. My kids will scoop it into the egg cartons, and then when we're camping, it makes it way easier if the young ones want to get the campfire going. Really easy to make. So now that we've made them, now let's see how they burn. I hadn't actually timed how long one of these burns for before. So here in a second, I'm going to show you side-by-side burn comparisons of 3 that I have. So 2 of them are like these. A pistachio shells, just because I had a bunch sitting around and I wanted to try it. They work. The sawdust, just like what you saw me make. And then one that's kind of the cookie style, like these. Let's see how they burn. well, there you have it. I think they all burnt just fine. Here, right at the end, I'll show you I can even started a fire with a couple of the pistachio shell ones. But I think the ones I showed you how to make with the egg carton and the sawdust, they're still my favorite. They work so well. They light stupid easy, and they burn so well. Both the egg carton one and the sort of cookie style, they both went out right at the same time there as you saw, and they both burnt for about 14, 15 minutes, which is plenty of time to get a really good fire starting. So, yeah, they work great. They're super easy. Give it a try. Let me know how it works. Cheers.